Happy Wisdom Wednesday, guys. I'm excited. Today's topic of conversation has been chosen by you, the viewers. I made a little poll yesterday regarding which topic of conversation I should pick to discuss today. Topic number one was worst brain foods, worst foods for your brain. And no worries, there is a lot of you guys voted for this subject. There was a lot of people voting for that subject, but we had more on the other subject, which is today's subject, and is how caffeine improves, affects exercise performance. It's a great topic of conversation. So let's get into it, guys. Caffeine, it's a very, very powerful substance, and it's going to improve mental alertness and, for the most part, physical activity. This is an stimulant. Caffeine is quickly absorbed by your body, by your bloodstream, and it's going to reach peak levels within 90 to 100 minutes of being consumed, and it should last in your body for about 3 to 4 hours, the stimulant effects. Then caffeine gets broken down by your liver, and the effects start to drop, okay? That's one thing with caffeine. Make sure that you have it with food if you're not very, if you don't have experience, if you don't have tolerance, because these levels of energy could spike quite rapidly. They're gonna come up quick, and then 3 to 4 hours you're gonna have a little bit of a crash. So if you have a good amount of carbohydrates, proteins to settle your blood levels, that'll be great. This is for the non-experienced amateur caffeine drinkers. But without any further ado, let's look into a little bit more specifically what caffeine does to your body. And we're going to start with the nervous system. It's going to affect your nervous system, which therefore is going to improve your cognitive functioning. Anything that happens in your brain, right? It stimulates the nervous system. Brain starts working at a higher speed, and this is going to improve your focus, your alertness, and it's overall going to get rid of that tiredness feeling. So, nervous system is number one. I would say number two would be hormones. Hormones such as endorphins, hormones such as adrenaline is going to be released when we consume caffeine. And remind you guys, the adrenaline hormone, it's our flight or flight hormone. So if we sense danger, something in our environment, you're being chased by an angry dog, that's adrenaline. It's a flight or flight. And what happens here is your body's going to start releasing blood to the limbs, hands and feet, so we can move faster. Your heart rate is going to increase because you're going to be alert and you're going to be ready to pump blood to those limbs so you can escape from that angry dog. In the case of exercise, in this specific situation, it's going to improve your overall physical performance when we have adrenaline pumping through our system. Let's move on to the next one. What else do we have here? Fat burning. Woo, good one. So here's what happens. There's a process whenever we consume a product such as caffeine, a stimulant, the fat burning process is going to happen via lipolysis. And lipolysis is simply the breakdown of fat in the cells. So this is going to happen. Fat burning, that's always welcome. I mentioned hormones, and I talked about adrenaline, but also endorphins are very important. This is the release of these hormones, of this chemical, is going to get you that wellness, that good feel, that what people call that natural exercise high. I got so excited I couldn't even say the word out loud. But endorphins are gonna bring a wellness feeling, so it's good. It's welcome, very welcome. Muscles get affected too, and the reason why is because caffeine affects the motor cortex part of your brain, which is the area of your brain that is in charge of muscle activation. So therefore your muscular endurance and stamina, the whole nine, is going to be a little bit better. And just to wrap up here on effects on the body, let's go with body temperature. There's going to be a lot of thermogenesis happening, which is just higher body temperatures. Whenever this happens, we burn more calories. You burn more calories. You're not burning more fat. Do not. I know these two get mixed up sometimes. You're not burning more fat. You're burning more calories out of having increased levels of temperature. Now, in a different occasion, with another hour to discuss, we will get into the difference between burning calories and burning fat. We'll get to that one. That's a good one. But yes, those are some of the effects on the body. Let's see. As far as its consumption, how to consume caffeine. If you are not an experienced caffeine drinker, I would highly suggest that you start maybe 150 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. If this caffeine is coming from coffee, and this is something that I also wanted to touch up on, is one of the best ways to get your caffeine. It's going to be through coffee, because coffee also provides you with a bunch of antioxidants that are going to be good for your health and many other health benefits. This caffeine, it's going to be very efficient source. Everything that I just mentioned you can get from coffee, so that's a practical way of consuming it. As I said, 150 to maybe 200 milligrams of caffeine should be good to start. And then if you're, for those that are experienced or those that are athletes and are looking for elite performance, anywhere in between 400 to 600 milligrams of caffeine should get you to elite levels of performance and reap the benefits of this amazing food item. So, sorry, not food item, stimulant that we can get from foods. Now, remember, guys, speaking of foods, dark chocolate, sodas, some juices, they all have caffeine. So be very careful if you're introducing coffee or another source of caffeine into your daily regimen and you're consuming some of these other foods that already contain caffeine. You could end up with a pretty high accumulation of caffeine at the end of your day, and you don't want that. There is negative side effects such as irregular heartbeat. You can feel a little bit of anxiety. So if you suffer from anxiety or your nervous system is not as stable as you liked it to be, maybe then do not consume as much caffeine. These are side effects of caffeine: headaches, dizziness, if you consume, if you overdo it, if you exceed the recommended dosages or intake. Let's see what else regarding caffeine. Quick thing here, couple of clinical studies. These are good for those of you that are involved in endurance sports. There was a clinical study not too long ago where they did a placebo effect, and they fed a big group of athletes. They split it into one group got the regular coffee. Neither group knew which one had the real deal or that this was even a placebo study. And the caffeinated group against the decaffeinated group, they both ran the same amount of miles. They both swam the same amount of miles. And the caffeinated group did a lot better. They also provided same amount of carbohydrates for these athletes in order to perform. And the caffeinated group did I believe it was about 1.5 to 2 more miles they were able to cover in less amount of time. So that's quite a little bit of improvement there. So if you're into endurance sports, you might want to consider caffeine, especially if it comes from coffee. It's very practical and easy to get to. I hope this was a educational as possible. I hope that this is what you expected out of this video. And if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any comments, suggestions for more topics of discussion, please comment below. I will be happy to get to it and answer it as fast as I can. And don't worry, there is going to be a video coming up pretty soon later on this week about the worst foods that you can eat regarding brain health. Woo, that's going to be a good one. Stay tuned, ladies and gents, and have an amazing rest of your Wednesday.